Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jess Gonzalez. I'm the program director for boxing mixed martial arts here in the state of Wisconsin. I appreciate you guys all coming in one location. The biggest thing, today that I've been experienced with is, I'm not going to say the education process, but it's being misinformed about what the regulations are really in place for, and then the licensing requirements. I'm here, this volunteer. I got a call from Adam a few weeks ago. Absolutely, man, this is the least I can do. I'll come and get everybody on board so you guys can hear it right from the source instead of second, third-hand information. To start off, I got my cards right here, so after the presentation's done, you guys can grab a card. It has all my contact information. At any time, you guys send me an email, give me a call. I make myself available for you guys. I'm also going to do the same thing, probably about 9 different locations around the state. I think it's something that needs to be done. My job is strictly to make sure MMA grows and expands here in Wisconsin. It's a hotbed right now. Regulations took effect September 1st, 2010. And ever since the regulations kicked in, and MMA shows have been down. And we knew it was going to be slow at first. And but we do, we are starting to see an incline in the shows and, the licensed fighters. In regards to that, I have a stack of contestant applications. I have second tournament applications. I have some bullet points, on the forms that you can take. It just has what I feel is probably the most important bullets, in regards to the rules and the regulations. So I want to start off by just going through the MMA rules and requirements. Starting with, from pretty much front page of the rules. I don't know if anybody's been exposed to the rules, that doesn't look like it.
Just during when they were making them, I was part of the panel.
Yeah, and there have been some revisions to that. I'm in the process right now. I understand as of right now, the cost for people to become licensed is pretty cost prohibitive. I'm looking at revising, going to the board, the legal counsel, to see what we can do to put in place to make it more financially feasible for everybody. We need everyone, who's interested in becoming a licensed mixed martial artist, whether it's amateur or pro, to be able to have the same opportunity that somebody who's, has a $60,000, a year job. So with that, I'm going to go on. In regards to the rules, there's some things that need clarification, and one is, Red and myself were talking earlier about the whole unsanctioned events. Right now, our rules say any amateur and professional fighter who participates in an unsanctioned event, and that means whether you go fight in Europe, Japan, other states that aren't regulated, and you come back to Wisconsin, you're still subject to a 60-day medical rest period. I know right now the tribe issue feels that this is directed strictly towards them. That is not the case. It's for anybody who is involved in unsanctioned events across the country or Europe. It's fair straight across the board, not just on tribal land. And for them to be recognized as a tribal commission or a commission period, they have to be recognized by the AAC, Association of Boxing Commission, which therefore we adapt the unified rules where all the commissions in the states, all straight across the board, adopt the same rules. So you get used to fighting here in Wisconsin, you can go over to Nebraska or Florida, and it should be the exact same. Every commission has the ability to tweak these little things, but what takes place here is going to take place in Nevada. The National MMA ID, the contracted database and record keeping company for the ABC in the state of Wisconsin is the Mixed Martial Arts LLC. It is, a lot of people say, why don't you go to SureDog? I understand both sides are are good. That's just the contractor company through the ABC, which mandates that we have to use them. What is it? Anytime that you guys compete, you'll be issued a mixed martial arts ID card. On that ID card, you'll have your photo, have your information, and it's a commissions tool. What it does is pretty much allows the commission, no matter where you fight in the States, to punch in your ID number, and then a photo of you pops up, and it has all your records, every single fight that you participated in, whether it was sanctioned or unsanctioned, how you won, how you lost, medical suspension, and it's just say if Red goes fights in Nebraska, and he comes over, and he's going to fight again. I punch his name in, boom, and his last fight in Nebraska pops up, and it just says, hey, if he's on a medical suspension, that's how we regulate, people, make sure medically they're capable of competing. I'm going to start with the licensing process. This is where it's causing all the confusion. I know people hear information second, third hand. I'm here to let you know this process is very easy. All we ask for is a full, complete application when you send it to the department. I talked to Adam and Red. You guys can fill out an application. You can scan it and send it to my email. What I'll do is I'll open it up, print it off. It's just the same as the fax. I have a fax number on the sheets that you guys will be able to, I have a new one actually that I'll give you before I leave. What it does is after I receive your full, complete licensure application, I go through and I double check, make sure your address is correct, your legal information. When I say legal, there's a spot on there where you have to disclose whether you have any past or present convictions or pending charges. A lot of people, feel that, I had a past, don't worry about it. We've seen a lot of things come across, and the department is not gonna, I'm not gonna say not, but it's about 95%, 96% chance that there's nothing that's gonna stop you from being granted a license. So if you know, back child support, IRS issues, still disclose that information, we'll get it taken care of, okay? So don't let that scare you off from becoming, licensed. This is what a packet, an application packet right here. When you take them, I put them on, I made double-sided copies, cut down the process. You guys have a physical form that if you go to the Wisconsin website, this is a separate form underneath, they'll say medical report exam. You'll have to print that off here. I just included it right in your application, so you can just take the whole packet, get your medicals done, and then send the packet to me whole. Now for medical requirements, right now as the rules state, on a yearly basis, you have to submit an eye exam, a full physical through a licensed physician, and blood work, Hep B, Hep C, and HIV test. I understand that this can be rather costly on a yearly basis. And what I'm doing right now, this isn't official, but this is something that we're looking at going to, is that from this point on, to make it more feasible for everybody to become licensed, we are looking at holding a physical every 2 to 3 years. Because my justification for that is, I have your records. I know everybody who fights in the state of Wisconsin. What shows when. I have the record-keeping database, that I can revert to in case I lose track. Therefore, if you're an active fighter, I'll have all your medical suspensions. If I have any questions whatsoever saying, hey, the individual, he lost twice by knockout, severe knockout, he needs a rest period. We have the ability to do that. But as of right now, the direction that we are looking at going is making a physical mandatory. 2 to 3 years. We don't know yet. I am looking at 3 years. So that means, you can have your initial application where you have to submit eye exam, physical, and your blood work. That's mandatory for your initial application. And then every 3 years after that, you have to submit a new physical. To help the justification with that is that every time you guys fight, you guys go through a pre-fight physical as well. Right now, it's blood pressure, eye exam, basic heart lung check, blood pressure. We might have to make that a little more extensive, but that's something that the medical team can look
Is
at.
that done by a physician then? Is that got to be done by a physician's pre-fight exam, or is it?
The pre-fight exam, it actually takes place either at the weigh-ins or the day of the event by the ringside physician working that event. So, usually we have them structured, the weigh-ins, about 80% taking place the day before the event. We do the registration, we do the weigh-ins, and we go into the pre-fight physicals right after that. And then the commission's done with you guys until the promoter wants you guys back. And then that's pretty much, what you guys are dealing with when it comes to the commission at an event. But this is very, very important that you go through the whole application and you read every word, because there's a lot of information that's left out. I have stacks of applications on my desk that are only bits and pieces. The medicals, the money, it's not included. Some of the arrest and conviction reports are not included. And if you don't have any, then don't include them. Just, you got a spot on the application where you check off. Okay? Any questions on the licensing and the medical requirements?
Is the eye exam, can it be done by?
Just any physician. It does not have to be an ophthalmologist.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, no, that's how the rules used to be. But no, we changed that.
Good.
Beyond all the medical and physical stuff, is there like filing fee then when you turn in the application?
All there is an application fee, and on a yearly basis, when you submit your application, it's a $40 application, and that licensure is good for 12 months from the date that I actually issued the license. A lot of information is out there saying, well, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for me to get licensed. I got a show coming up in a week and a half. Am I going to be able to fight? For MMA, it doesn't take 2 or 3 weeks, so if anybody told you otherwise, I can do 5 applications in like 15 minutes. And as long as you are in the database, you're a licensed fighter. If you don't have your license card yet, no worries, you're a licensed fighter. Any other questions in regards to that?
The medical stuff and background investigation. Do you guys do background investigations as well?
We do, yeah, we do.
So that information, is that going to be made available to the promoters?
No.
So that's just all?
No, that is not disclosed. That's confidential information, strictly for the department use. And when I say department, it sounds like a lot of people are supposed to know it's me and one other person. Right now I'm the point person for all MMA in Wisconsin. We had Darlene Wilborn, who was a licensing associate. She took another job. It's me, so it's probably going to be me for a few months. So, any questions? Definitely give me a call. Adam.
All right, so then once you're registered and you get your fighter ID card, do you personally hold on to that and take it event to event?
The ID card? No, what I do is, after I take your photo, here's how it works. When you show up for the registration at an MMA event, like say, you're fighting on Saturday. Tonight we'll do the registration, the weigh-ins. What I'll do is I'll look and I'll see, whether or not you have a card issued or not. If you don't have a card, we take a headshot photo of you. I take a small application. And when I get back to the office on Monday, I enter all that information into the database. And then I generate it's a color. I actually have, here's the card. It's a color that's just black and white. It's a color with the ABC logo, and then it's a colored photo of yourself. It's going to be laminated. It gets sent to your address. That's on your
They're
application.
making these now? These are good to go? I've been hearing about I was going to get one for a while, but that was like my last fight.
Yeah, as of September 1st, every fighter that's on the card is cool.
But then the fighter, once they have it, then they
And they just keep it in their wallet or their purse.
If we lose it, is there a?
No, just give me a call. No, give me a call and I'll issue them.
Well, so then would they show that if they fought out of state to you?
Yeah. And when I did, because I dealt with a lot of out-of-state fighters, what I did is when I punch in their name, when I know that they're submitted on a fight card, I go through the fight card, I punch in their name in the database, and then all his record. And if he has a number, his photo will pop up along with his ID number. I just write that down, and I'll just look at his record and, you know, look at how he wanted to on suspension. Any other questions as far as the licensing, the medical requirements? Okay, then we'll start getting into the MMA rules a little bit. For weigh-ins and registration, this, you know, obviously only goes into effect if you actually are on the card and you show up. When the promoter gives everybody the weigh-in information and registration to be on time, it's very important that you show up on that time. You know, it's not like the old days where people could show up half an hour, 30, 40, 50 minutes late anymore. You know, you do have a lot of people waiting there and trying to get this registration complete. All female contestants, they must submit a pregnancy test and pre-board physicals. At the courtesy of the promoter, they must provide that. All contestants, amateur and professionals, cannot participate in an MMA event until 7 days have elapsed from their last competition. Now, there was rumors before saying that all amateur contestants cannot compete for 45 days after the day they compete. They're on the same level as pros. 7 days have gone by, you can compete again. That's unless you're on any type of suspension. I already talked about the NMID. Allotment. For the weigh-in charts, welterweights and below, you have an allotment of 2 pounds maximum that you can lose at the time of, if you show up at weigh-ins and you're overweight. You can only lose 2 pounds maximum, so that's why it's important for the trainers, managers to really get on the fighters. And this is part of the whole education process, the more that we go and we do this, the more people are going to be on board.
So that's if you get there and you weigh in, you're 2 pounds over.
Yeah. So everybody has 1 pound allowance. So if you're a welterweight and below, you say you step on the scale, you got 174. You get 1 pound, you're still 3 pounds over. Now,
Does that mean I can't fight it? Or?
No. That's just that you broke a contract with that with the promoter. Now, if you're a middleweight or above, 185 or above, you have 3 pounds you can lose maximum. Everything is a 1 hour time allotment for you to lose weight. What we have is a contract. It's about addendum form. That if somebody, say Adam shows up on weight, and the individual over here shows up and he's 3 pounds over, and he says, I'm done, I can't cut weight no more. What we do is then we get the promoter, the trainers or the managers, and the 2 fighters together. We have a bout contract addendum that would be signed if agreed upon by the individual who actually made made their obligations to the promoter through contract. It's up to the promoter, it's up to that individual fighter on whether or not he still wants to continue to fight. Some people say, hey, 2 or 3 pounds, that doesn't matter to me, we just want to fight. And then the contract's signed, and the individual who does not make weight could lose up to 20% of the purse, which is either going to the other fighter, or else 10% to the fighter, 10% to the commission. But as of this point, it's all been 20% right to the fighter.
Does that become an exhibition then, or does that still become part of your record?
No, it's still part of your record. What it would do is then it would be, a decade now, and then we can restructure to the catch weight level.
You guys allow catch weight bouts?
We do.
Like even a month ahead of time?
Yeah. If the promoter submits a fight card where there's catch weight bouts, there's no issue with that, in regards to bargaining at all. But when there is a catch weight bout that's contracted, both competitors must show up on weight. They don't get the 1 pound allowance, and they do not. They do not. It's the same as the title fight. So, each competitor is given 1 pound allowance, and that's 4 scale discrepancies from promotion to promotion. There's a lot of misinterpretation going out there in regards to the weight graph table that is in our rules. Below, and you'll be able to all pick up forms. I have all these stuff written down. There's a chart, and on this chart, it shows the weight allowance of contestants that are participating in catch weight bout. This chart only demonstrates the maximum number of pounds that can be between fighters of 2 different weight classes. You know,
What is the max? What is the max?
it all depends on one day. It's for the small guys, I'm trying to go up to from bantamweight 135 and below. It's 3 pounds max in between weight classes. From 130, well, pretty much 136 to 170, it's 5 pounds that can be in between. You know, a catch weight can be in. And then anything above is 7 pounds, and that's super heavy. Obviously, there's no weight.
You guys do super heavyweight fights still?
But what about the heavyweight division? Is that rule still apply?
That's that would only apply if there's like a heavyweight fight and a light heavyweight, and there's a catch weight bout, like say at 210.
2 heavyweights.
No, if you're above 206 and you're contracted as a heavyweight fight,
Okay.
no, there's obviously going to be a big discrepancy there. But after an event is complete, the official bout results and all national ID applications are submitted by myself. And to just go through the purpose of the MMA LLC again is to keep accurate record of all contestants competing in MMA. It's a tool for commissions to use to evaluate fighters' medical records. It's also a good tool to evaluate fairness between 2 different fighters. They can determine whether a fighter is on suspension and for what reasons. Every bout that a person is involved in will show up, and we can see the results of the prior bouts, how they won and how they lost. Any questions on the MMA IDs?
Weighing question.
Go ahead.
Amateurs weighing the day out still, or is it the day before?
We changed that. We changed that. The amateurs and the pros are alike.
Good.
Where that was one of the things, a lot of these rules were put in place before I came on board with the department, and from the first day that I came in, there's a lot of things that we see right away that I didn't understand.
If anything, amateurs need,
You know, the whole old administration, their reasoning behind that was more safety. The more
The
amateurs
amateurs
for
cut
amateurs,
weight.
it's like, well, you're just allowing the amateurs to have one more day to cut weight. And it's, if you're trying to prevent the more weight that's cut, along the way, and then the pros as well. So that was changed. I don't know if there's any promoters or people that are working for promoters in this room. However, another rule that was changed was that all fights, you know, on the card, the promoter has to provide brand new gloves for each fight. You know, and that's from show after show. So every show, whether you're a promoter, you know, you have, say, a show every month, that's another, what, $1,200, $1,500 bill you're putting up towards new gloves. So we actually revised that a little bit and said, you know, the gloves can't be used up to 3 times. You know, there's a lot of, you got jiu-jitsu, you got wrestlers, you know, that, you know, go in there, just take the guy down, choke him out, pound him a little bit, and the gloves are hard to even touch. So it's in fairness to the promoter.
Are you required to use the promoter's gloves now?
Yeah, the promoter will provide all gloves for competition. Amateurs, they have to use between the 6 and 8 ounce gloves. We do allow the mid-style. I know Combat Quarter has a good mid-style glove that's about 7 ounces. If you're not used to it, and I know it's training gloves, a lot of people train in the gloves, but if you're not used to it, people say it's like giant pillows on your hands, but you know, you got to separate the amateurs from the pros, and then the pros, you know, obviously it's 4 ounce gloves.
Do the amateur gloves get provided too? Or?
Yeah, all gloves. Amateur pro, you know, and the glove style is up to the promoter. Most of the fights that we've seen in Wisconsin, you know, it's Combat Quarter gloves. I have seen a few other different styles and brands, but Combat Quarter seems to be the most used. Any questions in regards to just what I went through?
Is there any policy on like using the official scale before weigh-ins?
Nope. like if we have weigh-in starting at 7 o'clock, that's, you know, we have everybody there at 7 o'clock. We actually start the registration process before, you know, we get the MMA IDs, the pictures taken, you know, the paperwork, and then we start the weigh-in.
Do you guys have the scale?
No, promoter.
Do you have to, what's it called, where you verify it?
Yeah, actually, you know, if it's digital scale, you know, we do throw weights on it, you know, to make sure that it's registered. I've seen a digital scale, a very high quality digital scale, you know, where we put almost 200 pounds of weight on it. It's 190 pounds. And it was registered a pound and a half heavy. So, you know, that's something that the commission looks at, you know, weighs into. You know, there is 1 pound scale discrepancy, but if you have a scale that's obviously a pound and a quarter heavy, you know, there's, you know, discretion in that as well. So, here is, this does not apply to everybody. This form right here is convictions and pending charges. This is, if you have conviction and pending charges, you must submit this along with your application. However, it's an extra $8 licensing because we have the CIB check, and there's about 3 more steps that we have to go through to verify to make sure it's just a legal formality, really. But like I said, no matter what it is, just disclose it. You know, nothing that I've seen, and we've had some questionable ones come through, but nothing's going to pretty much stop you guys. Even if you have back child support issues, once we run you into the ICE system, they'll give us a number to provide you. It's just contact. You don't have to, as long as you have verbal agreement, you know, with the agency, you know, and the payments, the flags are going to come off your name. That's the same with revenue issues too. So don't be, a lot of people are intimidated by that and say, hey, you know, I have some back child support, you know, I can't become licensed because I owe so much money. It's not an issue. All you got to do is call and make verbal arrangements. That's all it costs. That's all it takes. They take the flag off your name. You guys become licensed. Any questions in regards to that? This is pretty much just informational sheet, so when you go home, if you have any questions, pretty much what I talked about. There's a lot of things in the rules, guys, that I didn't cover. This was a basic rule presentation. So right now, you know, if you have any questions, feel free.
So we're going novice and for
That's a hot topic right now. No, what we're doing is, according to the rules right now, it states that the state of Wisconsin does not regulate or allow modified or novice MMA. I have individuals preparing packets of information, programs, submitting to me. Now is the time, guys. So if you know anybody who's been involved in novice or modified MMA programs, give me as much information, give me as much contact information as you can. Because, you know, I feel, yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I think when the regulations were put into place, I don't have an answer why it wasn't allowed or why it was seen. But I think it's important, especially for our youth. And it gives them experience, you know, for later on when they want to take venture into the cage as an amateur professional licensed fighter. And you'll see just in the past how many years, how amateur, you know, how mixed martial arts involved in the state, you know, let alone, you know, worldwide. It's huge. And right now, you can see the evolution of how, you know, some of our amateurs are competing at a level now where a few years ago, you know, they shouldn't have been in there at all. And I think a lot of it has to do with the modified MMA. So if you guys have any programs, you know, people that are involved, send me that, because now's the time. The commissioner,
Dave Sixel, I think, is the president of the Pankration
pankration.
Pankration. Yeah,
Which is pretty
pankration.
much what they're using, isn't it? It's pretty much,
Yeah, some of the rules differ. What we are looking at as modified from the packets that I've seen, some of the information, it would be like amateur mixed martial arts, more protective equipment, no head strikes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So you guys don't care about pankration on the mat? If you have a show, then it's...
No, even if they have a pankration show, we're not there. If it's like, when that's some of the problems, and I want to be honest with everyone, and that's some of the problems that we're having now, is that a lot of people, a lot of promoters are going out there advertising a certain discipline, saying, hey, come and out, you got the posters in the cage, you got 4-ounce gloves, you got some recognizable fighters, but then they're advertising how it's all going to be either submission grappling or kickboxing. Come to find out it's a lot different than what they're advertising when it takes place. So right now, I think there's nothing we can do about it. Our regulations and our laws are put in to regulate boxing and mixed martial arts. Hopefully, activities like that, kind of cure themselves over a period of time. There are a lot of people that are in the business to do things right, so the regulations are important. And I think to help that cause, the most I can do is just go around and make myself available to talk to anybody that has any questions or have been given information that may not have been correct in regards to the whole regulations. And it's about fighter safety at the end of the day. Like, we have some issues going on legally, and it's not about surety bonds. It's not about insurance policies at the end. It's about making sure people that go in the cage come out just as well as players. So, any questions in regards to that?
Like kickboxing fights. So if a licensed MMA fighter does a Muay Thai fight, does that affect their MMA license at all?
No, nothing we can do. We have fighters who are licensed that participate in pankration, which is, borderline MMA. And it's like, what can you do? You got some licensed fighters participating, in the lactic Lando event tonight, and hey, that's the decision they make. That's something that they committed to that organization.
Okay, so but that or a kickboxing match, there would be no suspension
No,
or no hold?
no, just for the fact that we do not regulate kickboxing.
Okay.
If we regulated it and something went on,
you raise that boxing, right? So what about boxing? What about boxing license in these MMA?
well, we have a lot of people that cross over.
So if you have a MMA license, it counts as a boxing license?
They would have to be licensed
Yeah, they have to do
as
that.
a boxer and a mixed martial artist,
So it's two separate,
but they can compete in both sports.
or it's a separate license?
Yeah, it's a separate
Same
license.
process?
Yeah.
Do you guys approve all bouts?
Well, there's to this day we have approved all but one, and that was more of a learning experience than anything. It was our very first show. A bout came to me where there was an individual with over 45 fights wanting to take on somebody who was making, I think it's their professional fight. Obviously that fight was not granted or allowed. The individual wasn't licensed and wasn't.
So you guys can veto a fight, right?
So we did, yeah. We had the ability to change it, and that's what's important in regards to the MMA ID. And that's one of the main reasons why the MMA or the ID is in effect. It's just so that because we have a lot of out-of-state fighters that come in, and we don't know them by name. So we punch in and look at their records, who they fought, and how they won, lost, to make sure that, their opponent, is a square, even fair vote. But, there's a lot more, I'm not going to say leeway, but, once you enter the professional ranks, it's like professional is professional. Obviously, if there's a 40 to 50 fight discrepancy, obviously we probably won't allow that. But, if there's a 10, 12, 15 fight, you're a professional. You got to look at it, the Ultimate Fighter. You have no idea who you're fighting when you go on that show, or when you're in the house. So it's something you got to deal with once you reach that level. So, yes.
about like performance enhancing drugs? I mean, it's been like a non-issue so far, but or at least I think it's been a non-issue. How much are you guys testing? Like, what's the percentage of fighters that you test at a show? Consequences, penalties, fines, that sort of thing.
No, it's right now the testing. We are in the process of formulating legal structured testing. It is something that is in the rules. We have not tested any fighter to this date. We do have the ability, if somebody appears intoxicated or high on whatever, we can say no. We have medical staff right here where we can require tests right then and there. We have the ability to do so. But in regards to like the PEDs, that's something that needs to be in place. Actually, we just had a legal meeting on it, and Monday we are actually meeting again just to get the structure in place in regards to the companies and the process for evaluation, drug testing. Has to happen quick. Has to happen quick.
And then, I guess, once that does happen, will there be a list of approved and not approved substances?
There will be, yeah. And from commission to commission, it may vary. However, under the unified rules, the substances that are banned are pretty much straight across the board from commission to commission, and we'll just adapt, to establish commissions with that.
Is a lot of that information going to be made public too? If somebody fails a test, that sort of thing?
I'm sure everybody's going to know about it, but as being public record off the database, off the website, I do not know legally if that can take place. But when somebody has a suspension on their name and cannot fight, it's going to have the reason why right there. But as far as the details and what they actually tested for and what they were positive for may not be disclosed.
Well, a lot of the bigger commissions too, I mean, they're disclosing everything from like suspensions to fighter pay to drug testing. I mean, what it's all going to be made available to the public.
Right now, we don't have much that's available to the public, in regards to like fines. We do have some individuals out there who are on suspension because they still have a forfeiture that they owe the department. That's all on the Wisconsin DRL website. You can go punch in this fighter's name and it'll show that he's either on suspension or he's not current with his license. Will it say why? Most likely not. But that's all information that seems to seep out once once somebody is actually tested positive for a certain PED or cannot fight because of a very hefty excessive fine. So the fine's not so much a legal issue, because that actually has to be reported on the MMA LLC. However, I do not believe the public has access to that as a promoter or state commissions. As soon as I get information, I'll let you know. Honestly, I don't have any information for you on that one. It's something that I know we need to address and we need to address quickly. Any other questions?
Is there any differences on your end or in application between pro and amateur?
Well, yeah, there is.
So,
When it comes
you have
to
to reapply if you go from amateur to pro?
You do, however, if it's within, we had an amateur who turned over to a pro within like 3 months, received their amateur license. All we had is for him to do is send in a new application. All we did is update his status from amateur to pro. There wasn't a new fee. If you change or upgrade your status within the same year, there's not going to be another fee. And when it comes time to reapply, after your initial application or your license expired, but the fee's the same. Yes.
What is the total fee for initial?
For the application, $40. It's $40. what I'm doing right now, I talked a little bit earlier about it, I'm looking at trying to push the physical back mandatory every 3 years. That's going to make it so much more cost efficient for people to be involved. It's going to look good. The promoters are going to actually have more incentive, be able to hold more shows. It's going to have more pro fighters that willing to participate in their events. Blood work is going to be mandatory every year. That has to be. I know a lot can change just in a matter of a couple of weeks when it comes to blood. So blood work will be mandatory. And at all times, if something would happen at an event, the ringside physician does have the ability to place a medical restriction on you, require additional, possible blood work, possible physical exam. Anytime somebody gets knocked out, it's automatic medical rest period for 60 days. But then, a lot of times the physicians, what they're doing now is put a mandatory 30-day suspension, but then you cannot be cleared until you're reevaluated by a physician. And once I receive the documentation, everybody will be able to fight again.
Are chokeouts considered the same as knockouts?
No.
Never?
No.
Not kind of a more question, but is there a mandatory, is there a maximum that you can give an amateur for reimbursement and still have to be an amateur?
Yes. According to the rules, they're allowed up to $50 travel expense from the promoter. That's all I can say. What really happens, it's different. And I know I'm saying that right on camera now, so, but no, it is. It's reality, and it's, you gotta make it worthwhile for people to go out and participate in your shows. And, I was an amateur fighter. I went down to Indianapolis. I got $20. And I won, so I was a man. I didn't care, but it sucked at the time. So, any other questions regarding MMA? The rules, licensing, any other questions that? No.
Amateurs, no elbows at all, right? Not all action.
Correct. Amateur, no elbows at all, on the feet, on the ground. We did put in the rules that amateurs can elbow like the legs and the arms. However, the torso and the head are off limits. And that is probably the biggest rule that separates amateurs from pros. So.
What's the rule for knees for amateurs?
Knees on the feet, no knees on the ground. Actually, you can need the legs and the arms as well. Just depends on the torso and the head, which isn't allowed.
Is there no up kicks allowed?
There's up kicks. Yeah, almost rule per rule, whatever's allowed, in the unified rules is allowed here in Wisconsin.
Now, you have timekeepers and commission workers.
Yeah.
What if we have people that are interested in that?
If you have people interested in wanting to become inspectors, timekeepers, judges, referees, give them my information. Actually, right when I was lost looking for your school, I was on the phone with Robert Hines, and he is one of about 7 individuals recognized by ABC that is certified to hold referee, inspector, and judge training seminars around the country, and where they would actually receive a certificate. It's kind of like the Herb Dean seminar that came last year. I think it was last year's list. And there's an event taking place in Indianapolis, June 4th and 5th for anybody. However, I'm working with him in Sal D'Amato to hold an ABC certification course here in Wisconsin. And I just spoke with Rob 10 minutes before I walked in here. And I pretty much just get to pick the dates. And it's golden. So what we're going to do is once I get confirmation on the dates, the location, I'll contact U.S. Combat Sports for advertising. And anybody is going to be open to anybody, throughout the country, anybody who's interested in becoming a state official, judge, referee, inspector. Right now, we held a couple of inspector training courses right? I'm not gonna say courses, but presentations at the department, you know, and, I have a list of about 40 inspectors that I use right now, and to be honest with you, I'm using only probably about 15 of them. I'm being honest, and there's a lot of individuals that I
Don't trust.
I don't trust.
Not comfortable with?
Not comfortable. I don't trust. It's performance evaluation has a big one. So, you know, I got enough stuff going on at the night of an event that, you know, anytime I'm running back and forth trying to.
So you try to make every event, and if you can't, do you have like a number two?
Yeah, well, right now, you know, I'm the program director. We do have a commissioner that's appointed, but to be honest, he was appointed in mid-January. He oversees probably 200 other, you know, licensed professionals. New administration, I think anybody knows what's going on down in Madison and the state government right now. So yeah, there is cuts, but MMA is huge, and the department, all the way up to the governor's office, views MMA as huge and a priority for Wisconsin. So we're safe, and they're looking at it as being very beneficial.
So are all judges and refs and everybody employees of the commission, not the...
Right, they're pretty much contracted. You know, I have a list of inspectors, referees, timekeepers, ringside physicians, and judges that I use. Now, when I get contacted by a promoter for a certain date, they have an application process they go through. Once that is complete, then I make the show official, and that's when I start scheduling the timekeeper, the inspectors. You know, I have up to 4 inspectors that, you know, an average show. The bigger shows that take place, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 inspectors. And, you know, we have 3 judges, 1 referee, hopefully 2 ringside physicians, but we have only been able to receive 1. Financial issues with the ringside physicians and certain demands. But
Do they have to be licensed by the state, or like WIA? Is it similar to like how WIA officials are?
where they have to be, WIA I'm not too familiar with, but all officials have to be licensed by the state, and there's certain requirements that each official has to abide by. And for referee and judges, you know, the number 1 requirement, you know, there are other ways to become licensed. However, the number 1 spot on there is to have a certificate or a certification of an ABC course, you know, in judging and refereeing. And it's huge for anybody who's interested in becoming an official. Do this training seminar to come. I hope everybody is involved, and it'd be great. We need MMA to grow. It's my responsibility to make sure it does grow, and that's why I'm out here tonight, guys, just trying to get you guys on board and, you know, try to quell any fires that misinterpretation of the rules or information that you guys receive. So, you know, this is, like I said, the first stop is probably about 9 or 10 around the state. I've contacted some big gym owners around the state. You have to hear back from them. I heard back from a couple, but we're going to be doing this all the time. You know, it's going to save you guys, you know, going to the website, downloading information, not being sure on it. So you guys just take the forms.
Are there any insurance requirements?
No, at first, there was information out there about all amateur fighters needed to provide their own medical insurance prior to being able to fight on the show. The promoter has to provide a $25,000 medical, $25,000 life insurance for every individual that participates. That insurance policy that the promoter provides is going to suffice for that. So, and to be honest, that stopped a lot of individuals from, you know, participating in events, becoming licensed because they didn't have other insurance they couldn't afford it. So, yeah, that's no longer the case. Good to go? Anyone?
Any questions, guys?
Was it help? Was it beneficial, I think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anytime that you guys get a different group of faces in here, man, you guys want me back, just let me know.
Are these available, are those forms available online too?
They are. All those forms right there, except the last stack, those are just the information that I gave you. But all the other forms are available off the Wisconsin Department of Regulation website. But if you take one of my cards, it's got the website right on it, so feel free to contact me at any time. If you know people that are interested in training, let me know. We'll get them super. So. Modified MMA. You guys, it's important, man. If you guys are behind that, now's the time.
So if there's somebody that wants to get a thing, they just contact you, so that I'm sure you just want to know when people that are sponsoring that for their shows, and so that.
No, actually, because right now the state doesn't allow it.
Oh.
We don't allow modified MMA because of the new regulations. Right now, we're in the process, we want to reverse that. You know, there's a lot of loopholes in the regulations and terminology. It's all verbiage. And right now, because of that, the state, you know, that doesn't allow modified. It's affecting thousands of kids, you know.
Well, I mean, like USA Boxing,
Right.
you know, because they, I mean, they
6 years
like,
old.
well, you know, they got the passbook, and it's kind of, you know, kids show up, you know, and then the coaches kind of look, you know, like Donnie, you know, well, what's his record, whatever, and they'll look and they'll match up right there, you know, and, you know, it's usually.
From the information that I've been receiving in regards to modified MMA, it's structured packets about people who already held events or have structured training at their facilities for modified MMA. You know, according to the rules, modified, you know, we can't even have kids in cages in private facilities training. It's ridiculous, I'm sorry. You know, we need to open it up, and then it's strength in numbers. Strength in numbers, man, it's important. You know, there was a meeting that took place at the department with a few individuals from, if you go to U.S. Combat Sports, I'm sure you're going to read about it, but there's some information in that, so I take full blame at that. And, Craig Manielli is a promoter. You know, actually contacted me about holding an event over in June. Some of the information he gave me talked about kickboxing and submission grappling in the cage. At that time, I told him, I said, well, hey, according to the rules, only MMA is allowed in the cage. Next thing you know, we structured this meeting. Justin Hunter, Shannon, everybody showed up, and I was like, what are you guys doing? You know, I didn't know about it. And then next thing you know, I see an article out there at U.S. Combat Sports saying that we were talking about sanctioning submission grappling. That was never, ever the case. That was never even talked about. That's something we don't even want to go into. It's, I have enough just with boxing and MMA. Boxing, I'm not even going to say boxing. That really, unfortunately, doesn't exist in Wisconsin right now. So, hopefully it comes back very soon, but MMA is where it's at right now. So. Anything else? I'll go on all night, man. As you can tell. But,
Thanks, Jess.
absolutely, you guys take care.